Hello there. What is going on, everybody? Today we're going to be talking about Adepticon con exclusives, and not just promos, but an exclusive ship. So yeah, you heard me right. FFG announced today that they are going to be having an exclusive droid fighter at Adepticon. If you are there, it will be exclusive to Adepticon. Won't be able to get it anywhere else. Does that annoy you a little bit? It might annoy some people, but we're going to talk about that a little bit more. I do want to remind you guys there is still time to enter the Force FX lightsaber giveaway. All you have to do is be a subscriber and leave a comment. Let me know if you're going to Adepticon this year, what you think of this news, and if you're excited about anything else that's coming out in X-Wings Wave 3. I think there's a lot to talk about with this. So let's see what they have said. So FFG has announced that they were going to have an exclusive limited edition Vulture class droid fighter at Adepticon that you'll be able to purchase if you are there. They don't show us the packaging for it, if it's going to have exclusive packaging or if it's just going to be a repaint, but they did confirm that it's going to be identical as far as the cards that come in it to everything that comes in the Vulture Droid fighter expansion. So it's not going to be different as far as mechanically or gameplay, but the paint job is what will be exclusive to it. So let's take a look at it. They did show us here. It's got more of a bronzy look than the regular droid fighter. It's basically just a slightly more metallic version. Honestly, I don't think it's that big of a deal, especially if you compare it to your Vulture Droid expansion, which is more of a brown and gray compared to this one, which is more of a bronze and gray. I mean, it's very, very similar. It will be a point of distinction, though. If you are able to go to Adepticon and you pick one of these up, you're going to have a nice little trophy, a nice little, like, hey, look at this fancy ship. At first, I was really annoyed because I was like, well, I wish I would have known, because I would have loved to get one of these, but I wasn't planning on going to Adepticon this year because, well, I've got a family and travel isn't cheap, and you have to book airfare and hotel, and I'm down in Orlando, so I can't just drive over. Not easily, anyway. Take time off of work, all this other stuff. So, you know, I was like, you know, if I'd have known, like, if I know a con is coming like 6 months out, it's a little easier for me to plan, but like, this is next month. I have got like 5 weeks, you know, so I was like, I was really thinking about going for something like this, but then I got to take a closer look and I'm like, oh, okay, it's just a paint job. It would be nice to have, but I could probably live without one fighter that has a custom paint job. Primarily, I mean, look at how many people repaint their ships already. A lot of people already repaint their ships. Now, granted, this one is a special paint job. However, you know, it would be a nice little trophy. I'm not really going to be playing Separatists as much. At least that's my plan. I'm planning to play Republic more so than Separatists. So I think if you're somebody who's planning on playing Separatists as like your prime faction, this would probably be more of a trophy for you. Maybe more or less something that you'd be willing to go on eBay to pick up if you couldn't get it otherwise. But I would also caution you to watch out. Hopefully they have special packaging with this, because the paint job is so similar to the regular version. It would be very easy for somebody to get some bronze paint and just paint over the brown with bronze and then, you know, sell it as an Adepticon paint job. I mean, it'd be very easy to mimic. We have great painters out there, and X-Wing ships, I'll be honest with you, aren't that hard to repaint, especially if you're just changing one single color. This particular ship doesn't look like it would be that hard to paint. Put some bronze over there, put a little wash on it, you're done. You know, just make sure you don't get the gray parts, and if you do, then redo those. I just don't think it'll be that hard to repaint and produce this particular version. As a matter of fact, for kicks, I may actually do that with one of them. But yeah, and it is more of a change if you compare it to the version that comes in the Grievous pack, because those are more black and white or gray and white. But you know, your basic one is brown and gray. This one's bronze and gray. I don't think there's that much of a difference here. So I am curious though if this is going to become a trend, because the moment they start doing gameplay stuff that is now exclusive to a con, that's when things become problematic. CMON has done this a lot with a lot of their Kickstarter exclusive stuffs that have then become con exclusives. Con exclusives are kind of a problem. For a number of reasons, because cons, by their very definition, are kind of a limited experience that some people get to go to and everybody else has to stay at home and like hear about or watch about. So, you know, if you want your games to be inclusive, if you want your games to be able to have everybody playing them, you don't want to have things that, oh, well, you are the only ones that can get this. Now, I'm fine with promos. Promos are, you know, I don't personally like to use very many promos unless it's maybe a card that's hard to find in general. Like, I'm still looking for that spinal armament for Armada. Like, if it's a card that maybe you don't have that many of that you could use an extra one of anyway, that's fine. But generally, promos, I don't generally use them. Another thing is, this paint job is effectively just a promo version of the ship, and you have to buy it, so it's not like they're even giving them out. I do expect these will go up on eBay. I do expect they will be a little bit pricey, but I don't think they're going to be like $100 for a ship, especially because it's just a paint job. I imagine you will probably see this on eBay for $40 to $45, and a good price would probably be $35 to $40 or so, plus you'll have to pay shipping. About what you would pay for a commission for a ship. Maybe a little bit more because it might be sentimental, but I would imagine a sentimental ship is great if it means something to you. If this particular color scheme is very, very important to you, then maybe that's worth something. But I imagine the better benefit is if you went to Adepticon. If you go to the con and pick this up, now that ship means something to you because that's your Adepticon ship. If you buy one, then maybe it might not mean as much to you. But different people feel differently about it. That's personally my take. I would definitely get one of these if I was going, and I would not repaint this ship ever because this would be the Adepticon ship, you know. And so, like, I don't like generally having other people paint stuff for me. I think it's more of a, you know, I like to paint things myself, or if somebody does paint something for me, I want there to be some kind of reason for it or something special about that particular instance. But that's just me. I am worried a little bit that this type of trend might eventually catch on to the extreme that we start seeing like limited edition pilot cards that don't exist anywhere else. I don't really think FFG is going to do that, but I'm just, you know, I think that's something we need to be cautious of and let them know that, hey, this is okay, but don't take it any further because slippery slopes can be slippery. That's why they call them slippery slopes. But I'm all right with this particular instance. It happens not to be a paint job that I'm super crazy about, and I think I would rather con exclusives be con premieres, where things like will be available later on, like the way they do their Gen Con early releases. I'm fine with that because everybody else can get it, right? I would rather something like this be either an Adepticon early release or maybe all con exclusives. Like maybe this is something you can only get if you go to a convention, and this way that FFG is at. So whether you can go to Star Wars Celebration, Adepticon, Gen Con, Dice Tower West, or whatever FFG is going to, right? I don't think they're going to Dice Tower West this year, but regardless, like different types of cons. Like if it was any con exclusive, that would make it a little bit easier to get, but it'd still be con exclusive. So ultimately, I'd like for stuff to be, you can either get a discount or you get it early at the con, but you don't like totally cut people off in general. But for a paint job, personally, I'm kind of indifferent. It doesn't look that different than the other ones, and it'd be a nice little token. It would all actually be no different than if FFG had, I would actually rather this. What if FFG had a paint workshop where they were like, all right, if you're at this con, you can buy a ship from our store, bring it over here. We're gonna, have, paint this ship with Alex Davey or whatever, and you sit down and you do a ship painting class where you repaint a ship. You've got the devs from the game there with you, and maybe some prominent painting experts like Sarastro. We flew Sarastro out, and he's gonna be at the con. And he's gonna be walking through, giving you guys tips, and you're all gonna paint something together with Sarastro. The workshop costs $40. Maybe it's $50, includes the mini, and then boom, now you've got something to take home. You had an activity for that day, got to meet Sarastro or some of the devs or whatever. I think something like that would be a much cooler idea. Granted, it would take up space and it would be supplies, and there'd be a bunch of logistics that go into working something like that out. But I think some type of painting workshop would be a better way to do it in the future. This is obviously the cleaner, cheaper, easier con way to just do, like, here, just buy it and then go and then get out of here. It's easier, I think, logistically for them to just sell you another ship. but I think a workshop would be a much cooler idea in the future, and then nobody would be like, oh, how come that wasn't available everywhere else? Well, because it was an experience rather than just a product. But that's what I think. I'd love to hear what you guys think. Let me know what you think about this con exclusive paint job. Also, we don't know when Wave 3 is coming out yet. A lot of people are still saying it's going to be out in February. I think this is also going to be much less in demand if Wave 3 is also already out by this time. So it's just one more ship to add to your collection. And that's certainly what it looks like. It looks like Wave 3 will be out before Adepticon, so that's kind of what I think. Alright guys, that's about all I got for you today. If you like this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up. Let me know what you think down in the comments below. Be sure to subscribe, click that bell for alerts. You can check out Crabbok.com. You can also hop into my Discord and say hi over there. Big thanks to my patrons on Patreon. You guys are amazing. I want to thank you all so much for watching, and have a great day.